Good morning, sir. Thank you. Thanks for accepting my invite and being here to share your journey so far. And we'll also talk about GenAI and a lot of other things. But for the viewers, let me introduce Boopathy Kumar. He had a very versatile career wherein he started off as an analyst, and then he grew in ranks up to vice president. He was leading a successful establishment, and then he made a decision to start on his own an entrepreneurial journey and had been successfully delivering it so far. I'm glad to have Bhupati sir over here. Thank you, sir. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for inviting me. Thanks giving this wonderful opportunity to have an interaction with you, Shami sir. And as I said, it's been a good journey so far, and we're very excited about what's coming ahead of time, and I'm looking forward for a lot of good things.
Yeah. So even before we speak about anything, right? When I went through your journey, your professional journey, what really was surprising to me is you took the road which is less traveled because someone who has risen to the career and being a VP at a very young age, that means that your career was well established, you were well settled. Generally, people will just try to run and maintain and probably retire from there, or just grow up a little bit more and become a CXO types. But you took a hard decision saying that no, I'm going to reset it and I'm going to start on my own. That's something which always there in all our minds. Many of us want to start a business, but we have been always procrastinating it. And all of us have some sort of a commitment. And even you will be having a commitment. It's not like all our commitments are over. Now I'm going to leave my day job and start a business, right? It never happens. So something in you would have prompted you to say that, yes, I'm going to do it. What was that moment like? What made you to pause and take this type of a bold decision?
Sure. It's a good question, sir. If you have told me that I'll be running an organization 10 or 15 years back, I would have been laughed at it. It was not, I would not, if I'm saying that I've been in dream to run a company of my own, from the start of my career. No, that's not what happened. So as everybody, been in industry for the last 2 decades. When we started, I started with an reputed SI, right, as a fresher, and the first thing when I did my engineering and then I was looking for a job, that's when September 11 happened. So there was a disruption at that point, where I had to be where my previous seniors would used to get campus, where we have to go and knock the doors of each and every offices. I do remember, I dropping resumes in every office in T Nagar, just walking through the road. So, from there, my first job was, it was hard earned, in the sense I've been waiting for it for a year, and then got into it. And then, as we all did, because at that time of career, we had an early opportunity to move to US, spend time with the customers. And after that, after a few years in my initial organization, I moved to another SI. That's when things got little changed. Where I was getting my foot into a specific technology, which we are now working, Pega, and got a lot of exposure and spent almost 7-8 years in US. At that point, I bet my uh, previous boss, or I would say more of a mentor, Dilip Balakrishnan, who was very higher up in the organization, where I was just one among the 300 people he was managing. But still, I was touched by the way he interacted with me, because we were all co-located in a specific location in US, in Dallas. And after a few years of engagement, he came out and started his own organization. And at that point, I just got my first son, and he was just not even 1 year old. And when he said that he's going to start something new, when I heard about it, I don't know what happened. It was intuition, or it is some kind of frustration in my earlier organization. I don't know what it is. I just raised my hand and say, would you give me a chance? Right. That's and I would say, like, Even though I started my own entrepreneurship last year, that all started then, like in back in 2014, when Dilip said, "Okay, come along," right? And I had to take a choice at that point. I had a chance to be in US, or go to another North American country, or even had a visa for Australia to go and continue in the current organization. But something pulled me. Like I felt something was missing in what I was doing. And when I heard about somebody starting from the scratch, and it was exciting to be part of the journey. And I also trusted that leader who I have seen him, and I've trusted the leader, and I still see him as my mentor, and still we still interact, even though we are not working together at this point. And I followed him, and then I had to, it was a bit of a conversation with my wife to and my family as well, right? To tell them that I'm going to leave what I'm doing in US, or rather going to another country, coming back to India, and start with a company who doesn't have even a single person in India. Surprisingly, none of my family members or my wife, even with a small kid, she didn't stop me from doing that. So, and that's when our earlier journey with Serendipity started, with one person, myself and Dilip, starting in a single room. And with his leadership and all the hard works to my colleagues, we were able to scale that company. And that journey gave me a lot of confidence. Because, as you said, we all came from almost similar background, from a traditional background where business is always treated as something challenging, as well as whether we have that appetite to do it, right? But when I see from close circle how a leader operate, right, from the scratch, which is bootstrapped, and how he managed, and how he was setting up some principles for the organization, that gave me a lot of confidence. And that gave me, you know uh, and also the opportunity which was there was to be more technical, as well as build a team which is technically strong. And that was and we had a very good journey, and we saw a lot of ups and downs there. And that understood that, okay, it's not going to be always going to be a smooth ride. So it was just a preview for me, seeing that, okay, you can go through ups, you can go through downs, you can again come up, and you can still be lost. So it gave me a confidence. It gave me a threshold that where the failure is going to land us, as well as if it succeed, where it can take us. But more than that, the journey was very exciting. And after Serendipity, when Serendipity merged with another bigger organization, and the decision was to when to come out, I had a similar choice to make, whether go ahead and head another, join some of the same technology companies in the professional services side, or taking some senior roles, or do by myself. Um, I know, again, I would not say that there was not a lot of logical thinking or analytical mind we apply on our daily projects applies there. It is intuition. I said, okay, anyway, I'm going to spend so much amount of time, and I've seen a journey. Let me give a try of my own, right? Let's see how this goes out, right? Because I always feel, after going through that startup journey, there might be some constraints we need to work with if we go and join another bigger organization. Nothing wrong, I'm saying, about joining a bigger organization and working with. That's where we learn the trade. I still respect them, and what the guidance and what the initial things I learned from there, I still value it. But at a point of career, we decided that we wanted to have some kind of a freedom in what we want to do, how we want to execute things. I thought that's going to come only when I do myself, and took a chance. I came out in 2023 December and started something of my own. At that point, my other two founders, Praveen and Arish, we were not been talking. We didn't got connected at that time. I started my own in 2024 Jan, and then was running, and then me in 6 months, it's all fall in place, right? So I always feel that if you take steps towards where you want to go, things will fall in place. And with God's grace, I feel that we have got set up a good core team now, with my founders, as well as we have around 16 people right now with us, working for at least 2 or 3 clients. But that was exciting, and I would say it got more excited with Gen AI coming into and disruption just coming into, because one way to look at it is it's it's a challenge, and the second way is I also feel it's kind of uh, being a level setter. Like you can be
No,
a
that was my actual second question to you, saying that you just started your entrepreneurial journey, right? And that is the time when you had almost taken the plunge in November 2024. GenAI was gaining momentum. In fact, when ChatGPT was released, that was one thing which had million downloads in the shortest span of time. None of the other apps had that, right? So the- I thought like you would have had a fear factor saying that, hey, there is something happening in the market because none of us understood what does this Gen AI means. The understanding even we have today is not that deep enough. But now if I go back and think about 2024, mid of 2024, when you were almost on wrapping up saying that let's start this company, there is a huge market disruption is happening. Did that even create some sort of a fear in you and among your other co-founders? Or how did you even approach it? Did you ignore it or did you factor that in? If you factored in, what was your thought process behind it?
yeah. So two things here. One is when we all come together and established November 2024, and as you all it's been in talks for within us 3 months before that or 4 months before that we have been doing it. One area is we first wanted to start on our strengths, which is Pega delivery, right, process automation, and all those areas. We felt that okay, we have enough expertise, and in order to start a professional services delivery organization on the Pega as a Pega implementation delivery side, right? And we also know that Pega as a platform also is going into Gen AI, and everybody is going to Gen AI. Um, to be frank, my initial months in 2024, we were ignoring it. And then we quickly learned that we can't ignore it. And also we said, okay, we have to get into the stream of doing these things, right? One is yes, it was very very challenging and was creating a lot of doubts in our minds as well. Okay, how this is going to pan out, right? Would even a professional services organization be able to survive if people able to generate code, if people able to do things by just prompting? Where would I think it's not only us, every professional developer, everybody had this kind of thoughts coming in. But that's when I started learning, and that's when we also meet Sir on Tech Parasala, one of the things, one of the meetups. It gave us a lot of good insight. So as everybody does, anything new first creates fear, then you get to try to understand it, because all the way along in our career, I still remember when I took computer science engineering in my engineering, one of my friend's mother was saying that said you need to be learning till your life ends. That's the word, and it still sticks to me, because that's how we have been facing, right? All the career we have been learning new things. So I think we thought, okay, let's learn it. And second, I also one thing I understood quickly is everybody is figuring it out. It's not that
Yeah.
a single organization figured out. Be it a multi-billion-dollar company or a $1 million company or just a startup, everybody is figuring out. So that means opportunity is equal, right? Opportunity is equal. If we can figure out and something, we don't have to figure out the whole set, but if we can figure out solving a certain specific problems using Gen AI and go from there, it will be a good thing. And second is, being from professional services background, I thought that okay, this can help me build a next generation professional services company which can use Gen AI along with their delivery capabilities. Doesn't have to be always because in typical professional services organization, we always go after skilled people, right?
Mm.
And whatever we say about having a very well-oiled machine process, it's still not a factory line where it can be done automatically. It's humans, and they need to be skilled, and they need to be empowered, and they need to be on the ground. I always believe the team on the ground delivers, not your process, right? Process helps, but team on the ground delivers. So that's when we realized, okay, probably we should do something to build an opportunity to build a next gen professional services team, not about implementing AI solutions, but also try to embed AI into our daily delivery life cycles, right? In all stages. Okay, how do I do now my testing? How do I do my development, right? Even though we work on low-code platform, where we do, and with all the readings and tech parasala meetups and all those areas, it gave us opportunity to try things. And I would say, like, we are taking some baby steps, learning things and doing things, uh, you know and it's good. I feel opportunity is open now, right? It's like this disruption
True.
kind of, it's a true level setter. If you want to invest time and focus, definitely you have opportunity to tap on. That's my thoughts.
True. In fact, you very beautifully narrated it from the first phase where you ignored it, second phase where you started knowing more about it, third phase where you started attending meetups, doing some self learning to understand what it is, and now on a journey where you are trying to integrate it as part of your day to day life, not just your professional life, but also in your life. So, from a stage of ignorance to a stage of complete adoption. That has been a wonderful way. I don't think any one of us would have thought so when ChatGPT was just announced. It just came out of blue. But now we cannot imagine a world without a GenAI, and all this happened in a very short time, right? So that brings my next question to you, sir. Now you have adopted it, but you might have your team working under you. They will be having a fear: are we losing our job, right? Because wherever I talk about Gen AI, the very first thing question comes is, are we going to lose our job? What will be the impact? There is one set of people who talk about Gen AI helping us to find a cure for cancer in a much shorter time, helping us to be more productive than all our previous generation had ever been. Then there is another set of people who are talking about losing job, finding it difficult given that this disruption is too huge. In fact, I remember Sundar Pichai saying in one of the interviews, it's like the electricity. When electricity came and it changed the whole world, Janey was saying it is much more than the internet. It is much more than a mobile device. It's like if we have to equate it, it is something like what electricity did to the humankind. So, how is
Yep.
your team reacting to this, Janey?
So, again, when as I said, sir, I first ignored, and then I started thinking. When I started learning, my team was still in the ignoring stage, right? Uh, these are all not a very senior, people, but they are all in their mid careers, right? And they had a lot of proud on what they were doing, and they felt that they are not going to be touched by that. And slowly, what we did is, interestingly, we we wanted them to try few things. So we did had them try some automation. So we've been doing process automation for enterprises, but we wanted to take some small use cases and automate, and told them that you're not going to use the platform you're going to use. You're going to do something, figuring out what is latest in the market. Try that. It can be a no code, or you can do a code generation. So we ran, um, for a week or two. We ran every day in an hour. Team gets together. The context was, they have to come up with a use case before they come into the meeting, and then say, explain how they figure out to solve it using something latest with Gen AI and things. And then, if somebody has already solved it, demo that. So it's all about one person doing it and then other person catching on to it, and it kind of caught up with them. And second thing, I thought, I need to get the team to meet more people, because what happens here is, most of us stay in a shell, right? If they're working on a particular technology, they always try to stick with it, and nothing wrong in it, but that's how the life goes, right? If we spend 8-10 hours in a work, and then you have a commute, you have a family, so people don't get opportunity, or people don't not many people spend time to go out, meet and learn and things. So I saw that pattern even with me as well as with my team. And then that's when we I wanted them to come into a workshop, see what's happening, right? So they got so slowly exposing them to what's happening, and then telling them that whatever you're doing, right? So even though we are into developing into a particular platform, we do a lot of work with Excel and things like that by requirements and analysis and all those things. So slowly, I wanted to have them try these things. When I've been telling them try, I didn't see much of the traction. So once that's when it's occurred. I've been just preaching. I'm not doing anything by myself. So I took one of our projects, a migration requirement where it comes from a different sources, and then we need to put it into this platform. Where if I have to design and develop all these things into my own platform, which I'm doing, it's going to take a lot of development time and things like that. So and then I thought of a use case where I can accomplish it with using vibe coding and GenAI, right? And and that's exactly after the tech parshala workshop where we did hands-on, which gave me an idea. Because I to be frank, I have a Java background, but I don't know Python. But that kind
Mhm.
of meetup took my fear or inhibition in learning a new language and showed me how it is. It's not as difficult as I think now with Gen AI, because we all know how to do a pseudocode or do a design, but we don't know how to do a syntax, and that problem is now solved. And now I did that utility. I was able to show my team that, okay, it took me 4 hours to do this, and now we have been running it. Now if whichever thing I get, within 10 minutes I have whatever they need in this input file for migration. And they got said, okay, I did that. So I was telling you, probably I did only part of it. You need to do something, and then one person caught it up. Now I can see that the team which was not exposed to any programming language because we were using low code platform, now started, each and every one is at least having one or two utilities which they done of them by doing vibe coding and things. Now initially, from where I came, we always used to wear an hat, whether it is extendable, whether it is robust and all those things. First I have to take that out. First I need to try something in a sandbox, try something very naive, very, it can be broken, but try something. And that's when you know what is the problem, and then see how you can further build on top of it. And I've been telling the team, right, every platform, be it Pega or any other platform, investing a lot on Gen AI. My case is, to the team is, if you know from the fundamental how this new AI works, you can take it and implement it in any platform. They are going to make it a little easier for you, but at least you know how the underlying concept is. And how do if a platform says there is a knowledge prompt based, you can retrieve content from a knowledge article. You need to know how that's been done, like in a general architecture, how it will be done, how AI is being used in it, which part needs to be tuned to do it. So that's what I was telling the team. And now I'm glad that team has started trying those. We've been experimenting a lot of different things. We are failing, we are getting struck, but everywhere, at least we have the confidence that we can figure it out with the AI. Even if it is wrong, we know after it got wrong how to course correct, right?
Correct.
And second is, uh, that's where I told being a startup as a freedom, right? Nobody is watching us over the shoulder to say, okay, did you complete it? We have the freedom to fail. So that kind of gives us a more freedom to explore and try things. And if it works good, or take the learnings, improvise. Take the learning, improvise. And as you said, it's been fast evolving. Probably we need to go back and redo certain things, but at least you are in the cycle. You are in the mix. You are in the
True.
mix of what. That's where it is.
Yes, yes. So that has been a very interesting conversation because you had been always a risk taker from the day when you started searching job in Tinagar to the day when you made a decision to shift to a entirely one member startup and then scale it. And then again, at a very mature stage of life, you are rediscovering yourself. And the final thing which you said, that is more interesting, and that is something which I don't get to hear a lot. Where I had seen leaders always pressurizing their team to innovate, but you leading from the front, saying that, hey, let me also get into it. That makes everyone to be inspired and motivated to follow the path, right? Uh, I think I have more than enough from this short conversation. I know that it's a weekend. I disturbed you, but you have been accommodative to me. Thank you, sir. And I'm looking forward to speak to you more and also to get into depth on what type of learning which the team is doing and what type of pace we are doing. Maybe we'll have a part two of this because I don't think I can crunch everything in a single podcast. But this has been a
Sure.
great start, sir.
Thank you, sir. As I said earlier, some of our GenAI, initiatives or GenAI learnings, I would definitely credit to Tech Padashala and you, because when we were in the stage where we wanted to explore, we wanted to learn, and that's when I got to know Tech Padashala, and when we did the first meetup, um, it was it was eye opening, right? Because I was learning from a practitioners, and when I came for the next workshop where it was a hands on, so I felt okay. This is not as difficult as people think, right? And definitely, and with people around, with people to reach out, right? We can definitely give it a try. And I would say, I definitely want to make a note on Tech Parasala being one of the inspirations, and gave that uh, initial push which is required for us to tackle this. And definitely thank you, sir. And as I said, I would like to be part of what you're doing, as well as want to be having more interaction, and wish you all the best for all the good things you have been doing. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for your time. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Bye.